The immense transparent fire tide collided fiercely with the brilliant flame tide rushing from the opposite side in the sky. The clash was a pure contest of raw power, and the resulting spectacular scene was a massive visual impact. Due to the terrifying heat, the space within the range of the fire tide was warped and melted, while some of the high-temperature heat waves spread out like an iron pressing down on the mountains and the 100-do platform below, flattening them into red molten lava. Crash! The two fire tides in the sky finally pushed apart due to their mutual forces. One side was the Emperor Flame, which could constantly grow, and the other side was the unfathomable fire, a flame born with the ability to encompass all attributes, making it one of the fire flame monarchs. Both were incredibly domineering, yet their differences were also clear. While the Emperor Flame's attribute powers were not as numerous as the unfathomable fire's, each of its attributes was a near-perfect representative. On the other hand, although the unfathomable fire possessed all attributes, none of them stood out as exceptional. Of course, the unfathomable fire's rank on the 100 million flames ranking, where it stood fifth, meant that even without any outstanding attribute power, it was still far superior to any of the flames ranked in the top 30 or 40. As expected of the Flame Emperor. Your fire's dominance is something I've rarely seen in my life. It seems to truly be of the same lineage as the ancient Emperor Flame that our ancestors subdued back in the day. After the intense clash, Fen Xing couldn't help but praise, having learned from the fire spirit ancestor that Xiao Yan's Emperor Flame had a connection to the Tuasha ancient emperor. Fen Xing had never had the chance to spar with the ancient Emperor Flame in his clan, but now Xiao Yan represented another opportunity. The unfathomable fire's uniqueness is something I'm witnessing for the first time in all these years, Xiao Yan responded from the opposite side. Then let's see which is stronger, my unfathomable fire or your Emperor Flame, which shares the same lineage as the ancient Emperor Flame. Fen Xing said, flipping his hand. The unfathomable fire, which had been repelled in the clash, now condensed into a massive Kylin. Due to the transparent nature of the unfathomable fire, the enormous Kylin appeared as crystal clear as glass. On the opposite side, Xiao Yan smiled faintly, waved his hand, and the overwhelming Emperor Flame tide swept back, transforming into a 9-colored Emperor Flame Dragon. Roar! The unfathomable fire Kylin and the 9-colored Emperor Flame Dragon roared at each other in the sky, their fiery auras spreading like a shockwave, dominating the entire world. Then, the two enormous beings rushed toward each other and locked into combat. Meanwhile, several million miles outside the mountain range, many young members of the Fire Spirit clan watched the fierce fire battle erupting in the heart of the mountains. However, all they could see was a distorted red landscape, with the actual battle hidden behind the warped space. Only a few powerful figures at the Earth's supreme level or above could barely make out the two massive beings fighting in the center of the mountain range. Qin Zhantian was one of those deeply shocked. 10 years ago, who would have thought Xiao Yan could rise to this level in such a short time? He now believed that Xiao Yan would soon become a representative figure in the lower dimensions, comparable to the Western Battle Emperor. Fire Tianyang and many elders of the Fire Spirit clan were equally astonished. Xiao Yan had already become unrivaled in alchemy within the Great Thousand Worlds, and now he was able to contend with Fen Xing, the clan leader, in a battle of firepower. The calm demeanor Xiao Yan displayed made it clear that his strength was even more unfathomable. Xiao Yan's fire mastery was now certainly one of the top 5 in the Great Thousand Worlds, and his potential was immeasurable. Boom, boom, boom. In the heart of the mountain range, the two enormous beings continued to clash and battle fiercely in the sky. Thunderous booms echoed through the mountains. At this moment, the terrifying heat radiating from the center had turned the area around the 100-do platform into a sea of molten lava, with massive waves of magma rising high enough to make even Earth's supreme experts shudder. If the unfathomable Fire Kylin and the 9-colored Emperor Flame Dragon were fighting in a lower dimension, this dimension would likely have already been completely dissolved. Yet, the two masters of these flames, Xiao Yan and Fen Xing, had yet to personally intervene, for this was only a battle of fire, a contest of flames. The terrifying power of heavenly supreme experts was truly on display here. After the unfathomable Fire Kylan and the nine-colored Emperor Flame Dragon had been locked in battle for over 100 rounds, a moment appeared that made Xiao Yan smile. Seeing this, Fen Xing's expression turned serious. The reason is simple. Although the power of the Imperial Flame is not as vast as that of the unfathomable fire, each attribute is a close representation of perfection. On the other hand, while the unfathomable fire possesses all attributes, none of them stands out as exceptional. This advantage allowed the Imperial Flame to gradually take the upper hand. Boom! High in the sky, after dozens of exchanges, with a terrifying burst of fiery energy, the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon finally sent the unfathomable Fire Qilan flying backward. At this moment, a smile curved at the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth. A brilliant fire symbol appeared on his forehead, and in the next instant, the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon's massive form suddenly expanded. Within a single breath, it grew to nearly 1,000,000 zhang in size, while the unfathomable Fire Qilan was now no larger than one of the Imperial Flame Dragon's claws. Humph! Seeing Xiao Yan enlarge the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon, Fen Xing sneered coldly and prepared to have the unfathomable Fire Qilan unleash more power. But just then, the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon, high above, struck down with a massive paw toward the diminutive unfathomable Fire Qilan below. Boom! The Imperial Flame Dragon's paw sent the unfathomable Fire Qilan flying hundreds of thousands of zhang. Taking advantage of the Qilan's inability to retaliate, the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon, under Xiao Yan's command, shot forward again. A tidal wave of Imperial flames surged from its mouth, forming a massive wall of fire that quickly enveloped the unfathomable Fire Qilan. The Qilan, trapped in the flames, was unaware of what the Imperial Flame was planning. However, when a terrifying devouring force exploded from within the flames, Fen Xing's expression shifted. Xiao Yan was attempting to have the Imperial Flame devour and refine the unfathomable fire. You think it's that easy to refine my unfathomable fire? Fen Xing muttered under his breath, immediately commanding the unfathomable fire to resist the Imperial Flame's encirclement. Boom! 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 The unfathomable fire, struggling within the Imperial Flame, triggered catastrophic explosions. However, for the Imperial Flame, which could condense the heavenly marks and destruction fire lotus, these explosions were insufficient. Despite the unfathomable fire's frantic resistance, it remained trapped within the Imperial Flame's grasp. When the nine-colored Imperial Flame Dragon descended from the sky, the refinement process against the unfathomable fire officially began. Boom! 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 Despite the relentless struggle of the unfathomable fire, which continued to resist fiercely, the power of the Imperial Flame grew stronger with time. In contrast, the unfathomable fire grew weaker. It was evident that the Imperial Flame was devouring the unfathomable fire's power and growing more powerful, while the consumed unfathomable fire weakened steadily. At this point, Fen Xing finally grew anxious. If things continued this way, it was only a matter of time before the unfathomable fire was completely refined by the Imperial Flame. Xiao Yan, however, remained at ease. He knew that the next challenge would likely involve the elusive fire spirit ancestor, whose strength far surpassed Fen Xing's. Therefore, if he could obtain even a fraction of the unfathomable fire's power, it would bolster his confidence in the upcoming confrontation with the fire spirit ancestor. Of course, because the unfathomable fire was Fen Xing's life fire, Xiao Yan's refinement through the Imperial Flame was focused solely on the unfathomable fire's fiery energy, not its origin. Xiao Yan had no intention of tampering with that. But Fen Xing did not want to spend the next 100 years waiting for the unfathomable fire's power to recover slowly. Now that the Imperial Flame had the upper hand, Fen Xing sighed helplessly and, with a bow to Xiao Yan, said, "This battle of flames is yours, Flame Emperor." I, Fen Xing, acknowledge defeat. Hearing Fen Xing's words, Xiao Yan, though disappointed that he could not devour more of the unfathomable fire's power, waved his sleeve and recalled the Imperial Flame that was still absorbing the unfathomable fire's energy. He then returned the gesture, bowing to Fen Xing. "Thank you, clan leader Fen Xing." As Fen Xing and Xiao Yan withdrew their flames, The crimson hue that had covered the heavens began to fade. However, the lava swamps of the mountains would not solidify in the short term. In the future, this would become a new and unique site for the Fire Spirit clan. A vast, million-zhong stretch of land formed by scorching lava. Meanwhile, outside the mountain range, Xun'er and the others saw the violent fire energy in the center of the mountains gradually subside. They understood that the battle between Xiao Yan and Fen Xing had likely concluded, but who had won remained unknown. At the same time, deep within the mountains, after admitting defeat, Fen Xing immediately checked on the condition of the unfathomable fire. Fortunately, only half of its power had been devoured by Xiao Yan, and its original essence remained intact. The Flame Emperor's flame control technique is truly as remarkable as the rumors say. I must say, I am impressed, Fen Xing remarked, having confirmed that the unfathomable fire's essence was unharmed. He turned toward Xiao Yan, who was not far off, and said, "It seems we've made an acquaintance through battle. From now on, you, Flame Emperor, will be a distinguished guest of our Fire Spirit clan. Counting from the time I last sent word, it's only been 5 days. I wonder, what brings the Flame Emperor to visit our Fire Spirit clan in person?" Fen Xing inquired. He knew that Xiao Yan had compressed his visit so tightly for a reason, and judging by the reaction of the Fire Spirit ancestor not long ago, it was highly likely that Xiao Yan had come seeking the ancient Emperor flame that was subdued by the Fire Spirit ancestor thousands of years ago. Upon hearing Fen Xing directly address the purpose of his visit, Xiao Yan didn't beat around the bush. "When I broke through the dimensional shackles, it was thanks to the inheritance of an elder. Now, that elder is within your Fire Spirit clan, which is why I've come to personally thank him for the great fortune he bestowed upon me. Without him, I wouldn't have reached this point." Heh, repaying kindness is admirable, even if it means crossing the shackles of dimensions. Your imperial demeanor is indeed impressive, Flame Emperor. Fen Xing chuckled before continuing, "The elder you seek is our clan's clan-guarding divine flame, the ancient Emperor flame, correct? The flame control technique you demonstrated earlier in battle is exactly the same as the ancient Emperor flame from back then. It seems you've truly inherited the lineage of the ancient Emperor flame, surpassing it in your own way." "Yes, the one I seek is indeed the ancient Emperor flame you mentioned," Xiao Yan nodded. "Since you're searching for the ancient Emperor flame, you must know that you've already passed the test set by our clan's ancestor, right? In fact, they've been waiting for you at the Fire Spirit pasture for several days now," Fen Xing said. Xiao Yan didn't seem surprised by Fen Xing's words. He had already prepared himself for the Fire Spirit ancestor's test. "The Fire Spirit pasture?" Xiao Yan murmured. The Fire Spirit pasture was one of the most magical places for flames in the Great Thousand Worlds, and he had long wished to visit and witness it for himself. "Our ancestor and the ancient Emperor flame are at the Fire Spirit pasture. Without special permission, even I cannot casually go there. So, I will take you to the outskirts of the Fire Spirit pasture, and from there, it will be between you, our ancestor, and the ancient Emperor flame," Fen Xing explained. "Then I'll trouble you to lead the way, clan leader Fen Xing," Xiao Yan said with a cupped fist, feeling a surge of excitement within him. Soon, he would meet the Tuasha ancient emperor, who had broken through the shackles of dimensions from the Do-Chi continent over 10,000 years ago. "We'll talk about other matters after you've settled things with the ancient Emperor flame. For now, let's head to the Fire Spirit pasture." Fen Xing raised his hand, and a tear in space appeared easily before them. Through the rift, Xiao Yan could see a dazzling, colorful world of flames. That was the Fire Spirit pasture. The Fire Spirit pasture lay hundreds of millions of miles away, and the best way to reach it was through spatial jump. Following Fen Xing, Xiao Yan entered the rift, and they traveled directly to the distant Fire Spirit pasture. Soon after, Xun'er, who had been hovering outside the mountains, could no longer see their figures. The battle of flames between the two heavenly supremes had come to an end, but little did they know, the real event that would shake the Great Thousand Worlds was yet to come. The Fire Spirit pasture, located in the southern region of the Flame Emperor continent, spanned an area of several million miles. This extraordinary region housed thousands of different flames, each giving birth to various Fire Spirit clans that thrived within it. Buzz. Somewhere within the fire spirit pasture, a rift in space opened up. Xiao Yan and Fen Xing stepped through it, and as they appeared, their unhidden auras immediately drew the attention of the surrounding fire spirits. The two of them stood atop a mountain peak, and before them lay a vast hilly region, dotted with countless fire caves, from which intense, scorching heat radiated. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The moment they arrived, the fiery energies from within the caves took notice of them. Figures that resembled ghostly flames emerged from the caves, transforming into fire spirits made of gray fire. Xiao Yan recognized this kind of flame. The fireworks that appeared before Xiao Yan and Fen Xing were countless, with hundreds of them visible, and even more of the same fiery aura could be sensed within 1,000 miles of this area. Xiao Yan was somewhat astonished, as it was his first time witnessing the fire spirit flame actually reproducing into a race on its own. This fire spirit pasture was established by the ancestor tens of thousands of years ago. His favorite thing to do is nurture these fire spirits. All the flames he gathered from the great thousand worlds, regardless of their rank, would be guided by the ancestors' spiritual intelligence. Of course, most fire spirits don't have much intelligence, just like the fireworks in front of us. Fen Xing explained as Xiao Yan looked on in surprise. Now, these fireworks can reproduce on their own, and their method of reproduction is to continuously split off from the original flame and let these offspring consume the energies of the world's fire flames to grow. In the end, the fireworks tribe will claim this area as their territory. So, every fire spirit race has its own territory here? Xiao Yan asked. Not exactly. The fire spirit pasture holds over 2,000 types of primal flames, but less than 1/10 of them can form their own races. Besides that, there are many unnamed miscellaneous flames, Fen Xing replied. Miscellaneous flames? Xiao Yan asked, puzzled. Miscellaneous flames are new flames formed when famous flames from the 100 million flames ranking clash with one another and merge for various reasons. There are numerous types of them, and they're hard to count and categorize. Over the years, tens of thousands of such flames have been born here, but most have self-extinguished, Fen Xing said, chuckling. Haha, but who would have thought that the ruler of the fire spirit pasture would be a miscellaneous flame? Xiao Yan understood what Fen Xing meant by miscellaneous flame. It was clearly the Tuasha ancient emperor flame. The primal flames were the flames that were born of the heavens, and the strongest one on the 100 million flames ranking born of the heavens was the fourth-ranked primordial flame. After these countless fireworks appeared, the unfathomable fire within Fen Xing's body erupted with a roar. Then, with a wave of fire king-like aura spreading outward, the fireworks seemed to fearfully scatter and flee. I can only take you this far, Flame Emperor. Our ancestor is here, so you will have to find him yourself from here, Fen Xing said to Xiao Yan as he retracted the unfathomable fire that had erupted from his body. Thank you, Fen Xing clan leader, for bringing me here, Xiao Yan said, expressing his gratitude. Then, Fen Xing tore through the spatial rift and left the fire spirit pasture. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and turned his gaze toward the distant sky. In that direction, he could sense two fiery auras far surpassing even the lower heavenly supreme. Those were the Tuasha ancient emperor flame and the fire spirit ancestor. Finally, I can meet him, Xiao Yan muttered softly. As his words fell, his figure shot out at incredible speed, and at the same time, a fire king-like aura enveloped the area, causing all the fire spirits within tens of thousands of miles to flee in fear. Meanwhile, 1,000,000 miles away, on a massive stone tablet over hundreds of thousands of feet tall, two figures sitting with their eyes closed sensed the disturbance. Old man, do you feel that? It's so fast, one of them said. The other slowly opened his eyes. Has he finally arrived? Xiao Yan. In a certain part of the vast fire spirit pasture, a fast-moving figure in a black robe pierced through the air. The imperial flame aura emanating from him made all the fire spirits along his path either submit or flee in terror. Although Xiao Yan wanted to take his time to explore the fire spirit pasture, he knew his true purpose for coming here was to meet the Tuasha ancient emperor. About half a minute later, when a massive stone tablet hundreds of thousands of feet tall appeared in his sight, Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes. He had seen this enormous monument before through the jade slip given to him by the elder of the ancient heaven-devouring Python clan. At this moment, his gaze pierced the sky for thousands of miles, eventually landing on the colossal characters on the stone tablet. Fire Spirit Monument. As he neared the Fire Spirit Monument, Xiao Yan slowed his pace. When he was a dozen miles away from it, a figure standing on top of the Fire Spirit Monument appeared in Xiao Yan's view. The figure was an elderly man who seemed unremarkable at first glance, but the fire aura emanating from him carried an ancient, eternal weight. He was not the Tuasha ancient Emperor Xiao Yan had expected, but the Fire Spirit Ancestor. Looking at the Fire Spirit Ancestor standing on the Fire Spirit Monument, Xiao Yan's gaze shifted around the surrounding world. He had clearly sensed two auras in the Fire Spirit pasture earlier that were comparable to the Upper Heavenly Supreme, but now only the Fire Spirit Ancestor was present. Xiao Yan's eyes focused on the Fire Spirit Ancestor. It was evident that the Tuasha ancient Emperor Flame had now been absorbed into the Fire Spirit Ancestor's body. At that moment, a deep, powerful voice resonated from the Fire Spirit Ancestor. "I am Xiao Yan, and I have come to visit the Fire Spirit clan to meet the Tuasha ancient Emperor Flame." Xiao Yan said after hearing this. "The ancient Emperor Flame? Ha, that is the clan-guarding divine flame of our clan. How could it be shown to just anyone?" Fire Spirit Ancestor replied. Upon hearing Fire Spirit Ancestor's words, Xiao Yan was momentarily stunned. This Fire Spirit Ancestor was more difficult to deal with than expected. He had traveled billions of miles to the Fire Spirit clan, yet the response was a direct refusal to let him see the Tuasha ancient Emperor. Who had sent the invitation from the Fire Spirit clan then? To meet the ancient Emperor Flame is actually quite simple. If you become my disciple, as a relative disciple of mine, you can see the ancient Emperor Flame whenever you wish. In fact, if you are capable, you can even control the ancient Emperor Flame and the entire Fire Spirit pasture, Fire Spirit Ancestor said. "What do you think? You must consider carefully." Xiao Yan was completely speechless. What was supposed to be a visit had turned into a request to become a disciple. He shook his head and said, "I appreciate Fire Spirit Ancestor's kindness, but I already have a master. Although it's not impossible to take another master, I fear that Fire Spirit Ancestor would find it difficult to provide me with teachings beyond what my current teacher offers." Hearing this, Fire Spirit Ancestor narrowed his eyes. "Oh, are you looking down on me, Fire Spirit Ancestor? Or are you praising your teacher? Is he a great perfection Heavenly Supreme?" "Unfortunately, my master has not yet reached the great perfection Heavenly Supreme. He has only touched the Supreme stage," Xiao Yan replied. Fire Spirit Ancestor burst into laughter upon hearing this. "Ha ha ha, interesting. My Fire Spirit Ancestor is inferior to someone who has merely touched the Supreme stage." Xiao Yan looked at the laughing Fire Spirit Ancestor, realizing that the latter was truly a top-tier powerhouse in the Great Thousand Worlds. If an ordinary strong person had heard such words, they would likely be enraged due to humiliation, but Fire Spirit Ancestor was broad-minded, with no such reaction. Just as Xiao Yan admired Fire Spirit Ancestor's open-mindedness, the latter suddenly stopped laughing and sighed. He then said to Xiao Yan, "You, who come to visit my Fire Spirit clan, seeking to meet the ancient Emperor Flame, yet look down on me, Fire Spirit Ancestor. Looks like I should teach you a lesson." Xiao Yan's face twitched slightly. Just as he had begun to appreciate Fire Spirit Ancestor, the latter wanted to teach him a lesson. "You are from the lineage of the ancient Emperor Flame, having once broken through the dimensional shackles through its fortune. Your talent, potential, and achievements far surpass those of the children of my clan. I admire you as part of the younger generation," Fire Spirit Ancestor said, looking at Xiao Yan in the distance. "Why don't we make a bet?" "A bet?" Xiao Yan asked. "Very simple. If you can block 4 of my moves, I will allow you to meet the ancient Emperor Flame, and you can freely take any flame from my Fire Spirit pasture," Fire Spirit Ancestor said. "And if I fail?" Xiao Yan furrowed his brow. Fire Spirit Ancestor was a true Upper Heavenly Supreme, with millennia of cultivation. His real strength might even be slightly higher than that of an ordinary Upper Heavenly Supreme. Blocking 4 of his moves was no small feat. If you can't block them, you will become my disciple, Fire Spirit Ancestor said. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan's expression darkened. It seemed that Fire Spirit Ancestor had made up his mind. Moreover, the elder clearly knew why Xiao Yan had come to the Fire Spirit clan, and now he was turning those intentions into conditions. If Xiao Yan wanted to meet the Tuasha Ancient Emperor, if he wanted to continue negotiations regarding the Fire Text Catalog, it all boiled down to blocking Fire Spirit Ancestor's 4 moves. How? Feeling the pressure? Looks like I do have the qualifications to be your teacher, Fire Spirit Ancestor said with a smile, noticing the change in Xiao Yan's expression. But as soon as his words fell, a surge of battle intent erupted in Xiao Yan. His demeanor suddenly became like a dragon or tiger that had just awakened. Since Fire Spirit Ancestor wants to have our first encounter, I will gladly entertain you. If you throw 3 or 4 moves at me, so be it. Xiao Yan's resolute voice, filled with dominance, echoed across the Fire Spirit pasture. Ha ha ha, this is interesting. You truly match the ancient Emperor Flame of the past in terms of momentum. Fire Spirit Ancestor laughed again. However, thousands of years ago, even the ancient Emperor Flame was defeated by me. Now, it will be very interesting to see if you can surpass the ancient Emperor Flame. How would we know if we don't try? Xiao Yan's solemn expression disappeared, replaced by a smile. Since the bet is made, please go ahead, senior. I will not fight back, only receiving your moves. Fighting here will ruin my Fire Spirit pasture, which I've cultivated for over 10,000 years. If you don't mind, I do, Fire Spirit Ancestor said, waving his hand. Let's go somewhere else. As the Fire Spirit Ancestor waved his hand, Xiao Yan felt a terrifying and overwhelming sense of power, as if he were commanding the fires of the entire world. This fearsome aura erupted from the Fire Spirit Ancestor's body, quickly spreading out. Within just a few moments, it enveloped the entire Fire Spirit pasture. Then, Xiao Yan saw countless flames streaking across the distant sky, rapidly heading toward them. The flames rushing from all directions were powerful fire blazes, and their numbers were in the thousands. The grandeur of the scene reminded Xiao Yan of the time when he used the heavenly flames on the Fire Flame Square to command all the fires in the world. However, unlike the heavenly flame command, which needed the Fire Flame Square as a medium, the Fire Spirit Ancestor did not require any such tool. What's more, the scale of this summoning was simply beyond what Xiao Yan could believe. Could this be from another fire text catalog? Xiao Yan immediately thought of the 4 fire text catalogs that he had once studied, including the Flame Fusion chapter, which was part of the Flame Mantra. Besides it, there were the Flame Transformation chapter, Flame Mastery chapter, and Flame Creation chapter. The Flame Fusion chapter could merge countless fires. The Flame Transformation chapter could return all fires to their origin. The Flame Mastery chapter could control the fires of heaven and earth, and the Flame Creation chapter could create fires from nothing. Clearly, the Fire Spirit Ancestor had mastered 1 or more chapters of the Fire Text Catalog, and the authority over all these fires could most likely stem from the Flame Mastery chapter. Swish, swish, swish. Under Xiao Yan's astonished gaze, the countless fire blazes that had been tearing through the air surrounded the Fire Spirit Ancestor. The number of fire spirits exceeded 5,000. However, commanding fires was not the same as merging them. The Fire Spirit Ancestor's ability to control so many fierce flames didn't mean he could merge them all. As Xiao Yan knew that the flames the Fire Spirit Ancestor could merge were far fewer than the number under his control. The Fire Spirit Ancestor's control over the flames was vast, nearly summoning all the flames in the Fire Spirit pasture. Then Xiao Yan saw the Fire Spirit Ancestor snap his fingers. A massive spatial rift, tens of thousands of feet long, twisted open above the Fire Spirit Monument. Through this rift, Xiao Yan saw a vast continent, seemingly devoid of life, stretching for millions of miles. On its surface, Xiao Yan could faintly make out the outlines of numerous enormous, abandoned cities. It was a desolate land. Come, follow me, and let me see just how capable you are. The Fire Spirit Ancestor beckoned with his hand, his figure flickering as he rushed into the massive spatial rift. The thousands of fire spirits also formed into a formation, following him closely as they soared toward the abandoned continent. 4 moves. Xiao Yan muttered to himself as he gazed at the spatial rift hovering above the fire spirit monument. Without hesitation, he shot forward, diving into the rift. Since the fire spirit ancestor wanted to play, Xiao Yan would seize this opportunity to test just how powerful the fire spirit clan's ancestor truly was.